Well, Fresno State went from, blowout loss to a blowout win in a week's time. They're taking on Oregon State. This is a 1:30 Mountain Time on the CW network. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Bulldogs can do taking on the Beavers. Oregon State opens up as 3.5-point favorites, but this really does feel like a pick'em type game. Fresno State looked atrocious against Kansas. Really couldn't get anything going. They come back a week later, and they really handled Georgia Southern with ease, taking on Oregon State, a team that, despite losing last week to Cal, still apparently favored by the sports books and still a competitive team. What can we see from the Bulldogs, considering that at least I believe that they're going to come into this season pass heavy, relying on Warner more than they have so far. So far, it seems like EJ's done a decent job of just managing the game. He's got 4 turnovers, 4 INTs to start the season, no touchdown. And, they've really relied on Bryson Donaldson. Had a great game last week, 167 yards, touchdown. And they were just able to find their success on the ground, which I didn't expect going into the season, but it's worked effectively thus far. What can we expect from, Oregon State team that's, suffered a pretty good defeat against Cal last week? Looking at Oregon State's last game against Cal, they were handled from the start. Oregon State found a way to score third, fourth quarters, but from the start, they were out of the game against Cal, and they couldn't really pass the ball effectively. And when we're talking about a team that started their season a week ago, lost on downs on their first 4 drives, an offense that definitely needs cleaning up. Now they're going to take on a Fresno State team that was capable of limiting Georgia Southern. They were able to find the end zone with ease last week. Can we see the passing game come together a little bit for Fresno State and just rely on their quarterback a little more? If you have an effective running game, I feel like you can take a little more chances. I would favor Fresno State by quite a bit in this game, just after what they did a week ago. But of course, Oregon State's at home, and they're still a remnant of a Pac-12 team, and they could give the Bulldogs fits, but we'll see. I think this could be a shootout type of game. This could be a high scoring, maybe lack of defense type of outing, and I still favor Fresno State. I just think what they did last week after suffering a defeat against Kansas in week 0, they've come back strong apparently, and I think they're gonna find themselves rolling into week 2 victorious. To be an interesting game for sure on Saturday. Could be one of the best games to watch from the Mountain West this weekend. Be sure to check it out. We got Fresno State taking on Oregon State, 1:30 Mountain Time on the CW network.